In those times, like I said, when you were learning traditional methods in Thailand, the general description would be that you would learn one or two moves at a time. Hi, my name is Mike Soto. I'm a martial arts coach, combatives consultant with over 40 years of researching, learning, and teaching martial arts. I want to invite you to my new video course, Fundamental Skills for Martial Arts and Fighting. The contents of this video series is based on my extensive research in Muay Thai, Western boxing, and Chinese and Filipino martial arts. In this course, you will learn some essential skills that will create a more connected and relaxed body structure that will allow you to deliver more power in your strikes. These body skills will create a more efficient way to use any offensive or defensive technique. You will also learn some essential footwork to guarantee the delivery of your techniques. These skills can be applied to enhance any martial arts practice and can greatly benefit anyone from beginners to advanced practitioners, regardless of style. Don't miss this opportunity to bring your martial arts skills to the next level. And you will repeat those moves over and over and over.
Hours and hours.
Yes, because it required your body. It's not just learning a move. You had to learn to move with the proper structure. Structure was very, very, very important. It wasn't like, hey, this is pot, It's like you had to do it a specific structure with the right weight. Then the partner will throw punches and they're about to hit you in the nose, and your parry was just enough to just parry just a little bit while he's throwing a full punch at you. And because if you have the correct structure, you can then make that punch not land by just centimeters. And your structure is such that his power got sucked into you and then you will explode into him. So you're still in range to hit him with the heavy weapons of the body. So to do things like that required you to do a move over and over and over. One of the hard parts that for me became a challenge and I had to overcome was some of the footwork. Because, like for example, it could be many hours, but I'll give you in Chaiya training. There's a movement where you're in your guard position where you step, right? Just like that. First you do it whether you're deflecting with either hand or forearm. You're stepping and twisting on your toe. Step, twist on the toe, come over here, step, twist on the toe, the right and the left. And you do that over and over and over. Now, what happened to me, and I'll have to find the photos to show you. I put them on Facebook one. They're like, hey.
When I will edit it, I will.
Yeah, and people were like, hey, take that out. It's gross. I, more than once, my feet, and the pad of my big toe and on the ball of my foot, and in the rear, you could see the layers of skin, like layers, one until it was raw meat that was worn out from the repetition of the movements. Now, I'm not saying that that's required for this training. It's just that I'm this foreigner with soft feet, right? It wasn't that they're trying to hurt me. It was unexpected, but it just goes to show you how much you have to repeat a move when you got a teacher that's looking for this quality, because it's all going to tie into something that leads to doing things right. It's not just, okay, you learned this move, okay, did it for 10 minutes, so go to the next one. You had to do that until he was satisfied, and then you could do it under a pressured condition. So for me to do that, since I'm starting from the base, I was doing these kind of moves, and I know I'm doing. Remember the day when I was doing it, my good friend was there doing some translation for me. Because at the beginning, when I was with the teachers, they did not know much English. They're like, well, how do you learn from, back then, these teachers didn't know English. You're right. Their English was very little. They knew little words like yes, no, soft, hard, go, stay. Very little words. Yeah, stop. So, but what happens is once you're with them for about a week or so daily, and because they're touching you, they're like telling you when to be relaxed, and when they're showing you, they're giving you cues, and it becomes very physical with key words. And they repeat their movements, and then they tell you when you're doing it's different. it almost by like osmosis, you start to understand each other, even though there's a language barrier with key words, because the work was so repetitive and physical, and they will fine tune everything. Not only do they do it and show you, but then they have you touch them. So you're like, oh, I see you're relaxed here. Oh, you're tense there. So a lot of information was transferred that way, with a lot of tactile and observation and repetition. So that was something that I had to overcome, because my feet were soft and I wasn't used to, walking around barefoot or doing things barefoot, where these students and teachers, they did that for years already. So they had leather on the bottom of their feet were like leather, thick. And they had another movement that they call it chat, which is basically you lift your toe up and the ball of the foot, you find a wall, preferably concrete, and you tap it. You're like doing tap, 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 and you're just sitting there, 500, 600. And I'm like, man, when are we going to stop? When he tells you to stop. The teacher says that's enough. And then you do the other leg. And I'm like, well, why am I tip tapping? How am I going to hurt anybody like this? Well, then he's like basically shut up and do it. And later I find out that, once you do a move, and especially if you do the knee, then this comes out automatically. So you knee again, the chat comes in. And you develop that tool so strong that wherever it lands, man, it feels like a hammer hit you, boom. And you direct it towards, obviously, the groin area, the inside of the thigh that's really, really soft, it hurts. It's a lot of nerves there, bundle of nerves, and the shin. Even barefoot. So that became a weapon that you basically, wherever you would hit and you would penetrate and come back. It had like a whip-like motion like that. It went past the target and then you brought it back to hit again. Pop, pop, pop. And you could just throw that anywhere. It could be anywhere. And so these were like, the development of the tools for me was challenging, because then, remember one of the times that I was not aware that I was bleeding. It felt funny, but my friend goes like, man, look. And I see the pool of blood, draining from my, no, because I was in the same spot. So the blood started, kind of seeping out. Like it was like a river of blood coming out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. And I look at the teacher and he's looking at me like, do you want to stop or you want to go? He wasn't alarmed.
Like, what's happened?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, he's probably just like, testing me. And because I was tested also. I was tested. These guys didn't just take anybody at that time. So, I'm like, oh, it's a test. Okay, I'm going to rough it out. I'm going to be like the Karate Kid, right? Like I'm going to be like, I'm going to show him, and I kept going. And then he eventually tells me to stop and says, no, just come here and sit down. And he says, I'll be right back. So he goes, and I don't know where he goes. He comes back maybe about 10 minutes later, and he squeezes a lime. He squeezes a lime in my foot to clean, because it was dirty. Of course, I had dirt and stuff. And we were in the surface of Rankamhang Stadium. Because that's where his group, we would meet in Rankamhang. It was a good place for us to meet at that time, in the stadium. And so it was kind of this, the floor was kind of like concrete with rocks, but smooth. Smooth. And because people used to jog around it too, around the stadium. And so it was kind of rough, It would be when you keep on rubbing against it like this, man. But I mean, it rubbed where you could literally see where you see the photos, you see them. And I was like, oh my gosh. And but that wasn't the worst part. Was that he squeezed the lime on me, and I'm like, is he fucking with me? See, this guy he's trying to hurt me. Is he trying to just mess with my mind? Is he killing me? Is he treating me like this? You dumb foreigner. Like I don't know how to take it. But he explains that no, because this will have it will strengthen you, which I imagine it'll strengthen you if you put up with that sting and that pain. But he said it had antiseptic properties. So I rolled with it. Right?
Yeah, like alcohol.
Yeah, like some kind of I mean, it was a different level. Yeah, it was. Of course, I never felt anything like that before.
think
So
it's not salt or something.
yeah, I know. That's always like, where's the salt? So you can rub it. Where's the sandpaper? So you can finish it off. So polish it. So I thought, man, this is crap. Many times in my training, another part of the training that was difficult for me was when they would demonstrate a move. In old style, in order to demonstrate a move, you had to accept basically that you're going to get hit, man. So see, if I teach people like I was taught, I won't have students. I will not. They won't come the next day. Because the teacher would demonstrate the movement, the angle, how it worked. Like, man, it was like cutting through butter. So efficient. So like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of that? But then he's like, well, you have to feel it. You have to see what it does to your body, because your counter depends on you knowing what this does if you don't defend it. And see, and now, of course, there's a fine line there, right? Because I'm not telling people, hey, beat up your students. It's not what I'm saying. But again, you will miss out on your development, how to understand the art, if you don't go through a similar phase. This is just 1 + 1 is 2. It's logic. If you have a student that was trained this way versus a student that wasn't, well, he is going to be missing that component. So when I teach, I like to encourage for people to safely increase, whether it's pressure or speed or level of impact. Okay, let's put it that way. I take it easy. I know that it's a different thing now. And a lot of people that come training, they don't want to get beat up, and nor should they, because if that's not what they're looking for, that's not it. But to be able to give everybody a chance to train, then I encourage start slow, but little by little increase speed and increase the impact. Not to the point where you hurt each other, like trying to knock each other out, but where you really feel what it would be like if you get hit there and why you need to move this way. Because when you don't appreciate that, you kind of think, I'll take it out. I'll just block it until he really hits you from that angle. You're like, the block didn't mean shit, because you should have moved this way. And you would have known that if you felt the pain of how it feels to get hit in that angle. So see, it teaches you a missing component that you're not going to have if I'm just teaching you to block it. Oh, you go like that, and then I go. There's much more to that. We've done some stuff in our training that I've showed you. Oh, you think it's like this? Well, let me show you how it really is, right? And then you're like, oh my God. Yeah, you're like, man, well, I never seen it done like that. It's like, yeah, it's because, again, not to critique other people. I don't know what they do. And all teachers have something to teach. Anybody that has their heart in it, whatever they learn, little bit or big, and they're sharing with somebody, amen, bless them. To me, that's all good.
About their aims.
Right. I don't know what their purpose is or what they, so I can't judge anybody for their training. But if you come to me and you say, well, this is how I do this, I'm like, hey, well, did you know you could do it like this? And why this might be a little bit, you might want to pay attention to this here. And then you go like, oh my God, I never, I wouldn't have known, that's a good thing. Right. So I like to do that. Just like if I'm doing something and somebody that has a higher level of understanding will go, hey, Mike, well, actually look at this over here and I go, oh my gosh, I didn't know about that. Hallelujah, man. Thank you for telling me, right? I'm the first one to be like grateful. No ego. I have no ego involved in any of this. I'm here to learn. So I wish other people were that way, but unfortunately not everybody is like that. They don't like to be corrected. They don't like if they learn something a certain way, someplace, and they come to me and I dismantle it, they get offended. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm saying, well, this is another perspective. You can do how you learned before, how you learned with me. That's up to you to put it how you like it. Whatever the guy showed you, okay, that's cool. Let me show you how I do it. You can pick whatever you like. You can learn from both. I encourage that. But unfortunately, many people come and I'll dismantle something that they were doing that I'm not trying to say it's incorrect, but they were missing a component. They were not thinking about something that they're going to get easily hit. And I show it over and over, and they get frustrated. They get angry. Not a good attitude for martial arts, right? Hi, my name is Mike Soto. I'm a martial arts coach, combatives consultant with over 40 years of researching, learning, and teaching martial arts. I want to invite you to my new video course, Fundamental Skills for Martial Arts and Fighting. The contents of this video series is based on my extensive research in Muay Thai, Western boxing, and Chinese and Filipino martial arts. In this course, you will learn some essential skills that will create a more connected and relaxed body structure that will allow you to deliver more power in your strikes. These body skills will create a more efficient way to use any offensive or defensive technique. You will also learn some essential footwork to guarantee the delivery of your techniques. These skills can be applied to enhance any martial arts practice and can greatly benefit anyone from beginners to advanced practitioners, regardless of style. Don't miss this opportunity to bring your martial arts skills to the next level.